Oh, it worked. Alright. What's up, guys? I'm Brad Utterstrom. You can call me Bradu since we're friends. Because that's what my friends call me. About to do a little artcast. I've been really struggling to get this off the ground. I started one yesterday, and right when I started it, my wife walked in the door from work. She was home like an hour early. And then, so I stopped it and didn't end up doing it. And then today, she said she was going to try and come home early again. Here it is, now she's almost an hour. Yeah, now she's an hour late. So I should have done one within the last hour or two, but now she could walk in at any point again. And I might have to stop it. Anyway, I finished up my 100 Days of Sketch Cards a little bit ago, about a week ago. I figured I'd draw and just kind of talk about wrapping all that up and where do I go from here. And before I get to drawing, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I have been doing in the last week or two, because I switched gears from sketch cards because I had a deadline for my medical artwork. I've mentioned on some of my other videos and on Facebook and stuff that I'm doing medical drawings for a college course book. So I had to, basically the deadline for some of those sort of got moved up. I was told that I basically needed to get them in by the end of the month, or the deadline was the end of the month, or whatever. And then what he ended up telling me is, oh, I mean, I'm displaying them at some convention at the end of the month, so I need a couple weeks to prepare them and put them in with our video or whatever. I'm not quite sure how all that goes, but what I'm getting at is all of a sudden I realized that was what I had to do for a week or two to get those done on time. But big deal. Did it. I'll show you a couple of them just to give you an idea what we're looking at. Brains. I guess I'll do it sideways so you can see the whole thing. I hate this shadow. I fought so much with getting the webcam so it doesn't shake all the time, and now look how steady it is. It's nice, even if I'm drawing. Ta-da. I'm sitting down on the floor now to do artcasts, and I clip it to the table that's much sturdier on the floor, whereas when I'm sitting up at my art table, that shakes while I'm drawing. So the camera, whether or not the camera is shaking, it looks like it's shaking. So I think that'll work. Anyway, here's another one of the ones I liked from my medical drawings. They've done 11 so far. Yeah, there's shadows. This is called the masticator space, and I believe it's like the inside of your skull. See where the nostril holes on it? It's like I was going to show you by putting it on my face, but you can't see me, so never mind. So anyway, I figured I'd draw Spider-Man today. I started this, what, 2 or 3 months ago. This is not for anything. I just thought it would be a good one to do on an artcast, because I could do it mostly black and white, because it's an iconic character, for a lot of reasons, I guess. And ultimately, I think it probably, boy, let's see, gotta see where I was. Ultimately, I think this probably will be a gift for my niece, who is a big Spider-Man nerd, because I told her Spider-Man's cool. That's an Uncle Brad influence for sure. When she was little, like she's 7 now, I think. When she was like 3, she used to come over often. We would pick her up from daycare once a week or so and take care of her for a couple hours till her mom, my wife's sister, got off work. And it was really neat. It was like not too overwhelming but a good way to build a good bond with our niece. She was also new to the family because she was adopted, which that's kind of a long story. Lori's sister adopted her sister when she was really young, and so it was a way to keep the two sisters together even though they had never met. So, long story. Anyway, what I was getting at is she would come over, once a week or so for a little bit, and if she was good while she was here, she would get a prize out of the claw machine. I have a little mini claw machine like you see in stores where you put in a quarter and, well, now it's like you put in $1.50. But you put in some money and try and win a prize with a claw. I have a little mini one that fits like whatever little goodies you put in there. And so I would put in like HeroClix, little Spider-Man, Wolverine, X-Men figurines. And she loved them. So somehow that kind of went from there into her just wanting everything Spider-Man. She's been Spider-Man for Halloween. I don't know how many years in a row now. She's got Spider-Man pajama and Spider-Man big head, is that what they're called? Fat head in her room. It's a generic one, so it probably is called a big head. She loves Spider-Man. Having said that, I think at some point in the last year or so, when she started like going to school and has classmates, and it kind of changes everything. And I guess some kids were teasing her about liking Spider-Man, even though she's a girl. And so she was like, I don't like Spider-Man anymore because kids are making fun of me. It's so sad. But my wife had a good talk with her and explained, like, whether you like Spider-Man isn't up to any of the kids. And you're cool no matter who you are, and they're probably just jealous of you because, whatever. It's little boys who like Spider-Man who also like little girls, but they don't know how to talk to them other than to tease them. So anyway, I just kind of figured I'd have this done, and at some point, probably the next time she has a birthday, I'll give her an original sketch card. Most likely. Her older sister already has one. I drew her a horse sketch card. Not her last birthday, I think it was a year and a half ago or so. And this Spider-Man's a little different here. I don't really know if I had a game plan other than that I wanted to. I haven't done any drawings really of superheroes, even though I really like superheroes. So I just wanted to do something. So comic drawing is, in a way, it's a lot more forgiving. Here I'm drawing, straight from an image from one of the movie Spider-Mans. But it's Spider-Man, so it's not really going to matter if it comes out as perfect, because there's so many different interpretations of Spider-Man. If that makes sense. I just want it to look cool and have like a nice sheen or whatever. So I'm a little less concerned with accuracy, with making it exactly like the photo compared to what I usually do. But I still want it to turn out really cool looking. So that's my goal here. So let's see. Boy, I really have to get in the right mindset to artcast and figure out what it is I want to talk about, sitting here talking to myself. And like I said, I was all set up to do it yesterday. It would have been a really good day to do it, and it fell apart. And so here I am today, trying to kind of spur up the moment. I haven't had an issue with is it being a little too loud? So, the main thing, boy, I could go off on some major tangents here if I'm not careful. But the main thing I wanted to talk about a lot here is what I got out of my recent personal challenge I did of 100 days of sketch cards. What did I learn? What did I get out of it? Where am I going to go from here? I think is the big thing. What was successful? What was unsuccessful? I would say the only part of it really that was unsuccessful is that I never gained a large viewership for my videos. And I'm not too concerned with that. And another thing is actually maybe this is considered not really successful, but maybe it's fine, is that I never really ironed out a clearly defined goal. Like what is it? It started out with finishing a sketch card every day for a month. I did that. It went well, but it brought up some issues, and I decided to change it for the next month. And then I just switched it to 100 days of sketch cards, which loosely defined meant I was going to draw a lot of sketch cards for 100 days and track my progress with what ended up being daily videos for quite a while, similar to Kevin, and inspired by Kevin Cross's 100 Days of Comics movement, I guess I'd say, because a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon and started doing it with comics. And then some more people, I don't necessarily know if this is Kevin Cross influence or not, but like Marshall Couture, who started 100 Days of Painting, and I know there are others who did it. I want to say maybe Nikki Jackson did something. Anyway. See, that's already kind of looking pretty cool, even though it seems to me like it's not even close to done yet, or not a lot of detail yet. So anyway, I just started trying to keep busy and keep organized, and like I said, the last couple weeks, the videos started getting harder for me to do, and seemed kind of pointless when I wasn't having people watching them. And yet then, as I stopped doing the videos, I actually noticed that I was drawing less. I was taking more days off when I could have been drawing, because it was like, well, I don't have to shoot a video. I decided not to do that. So it definitely had its ups and downs, and I still don't really know the next step, like what I would do differently if I did it again, or what my next project is going to be. I guess I do know what my next project is going to be to an extent, and it's kind of more of the same. I'm thinking of calling it One Sketchy Summer. But I'm already pretty close to booked up for the next 2 to 3 months, I would say. That doesn't mean that I am not accepting commissions, because I have a big part of the positive that came out of this whole 100 Days project is I really learned to incorporate commissions into my daily-ish routines and do them alongside sketch card set work and the medical stuff I needed to keep up with. And commissions are maybe the biggest part of the money out of it, because, like I charge, well, I've always in the past charged $50 for a sketch card. That's my commission rate. But during the last month I changed it a little bit, in that I now charge $55 if you want color, $45 if you want black and white. And that's because I basically started to notice more and more that I could do a black and white. Sometimes quicker, but in different situations. Like I mentioned this several times, I can take my black and white markers or my gray markers with me wherever I go. And as I started getting more and more full color commissions that I was backed up on, I might find myself sitting somewhere with time to be drawing but no black and white commissions. So I was like, I gotta even that out so I'm getting more black and white work. So I dropped the price on those and raised the price on color. Just slightly. I figured that was a pretty good compromise for what I needed. This is the biggest drawback to artcasting is I'm torn between drawing and talking, and so I end up killing time a little bit more than usual, and going over maybe some of the things more at times than I need to. That's alright, it's all part of the process. And I did really enjoy artcasting though. I mean, I say did, I'm doing it at the moment, so it's not totally past tense, but as a part of my 100 days, doing artcasts was one of my favorite parts. That's what I mean by that. Alright. So I do kind of want to draw this texture in there, but the pattern's going to be real tricky, I think. And it's really going to be hard to figure out where to put strong highlights. And like this area can be darker for sure, but I still want you to be able to see that there's those divider things there. That one sounds dead, doesn't it? Yep. Fudge. Boy. So, one sketchy summer. That's what's next. I have several sketch card sets I am currently working on. I have several commissions lined up. And soon enough, I will also have more medical drawings to do. But it felt really good to get the first... We're doing them in chapters. Oh yeah, that's all too white. To get the first chapter done. It was nice to get something done. It's always feels like an accomplishment, you know. So when I got to 100 days too, also felt like an accomplishment, but it was weird because I had quit tracking my progress so much when I quit doing the daily videos. And so like when I did that day 100 video, it's kind of like, man, what am I even talking about or doing, or where am I? So I did lose track quite a bit when I slowed down on the daily videos. By that I mean I was less organized. It was like, where do I stand? When I was doing the daily videos, it's like I knew each day how much I had drawn, how many cards I still needed to draw for such and such set, and I lost a lot of that organization when I slowed down with the daily videos. Did I lose my music completely, or what? I turned it down a couple songs ago. Oh yeah, it's just a really quiet song now. Still haven't figured out the right camera setup, but at least it doesn't jiggle. I want that. I want to do something without that shadow. I don't know how other artists are doing it. Maybe they have the camera further away? I'm not certain. Let's try this. So I will be busy this summer. Oh, the big thing that has come out of all of this too, and this was a big part of why I wanted to do 100 Days of Sketch Cards to begin with, is to get a feel for how realistic it is for me to do art full-time. And that still is heavy on my mind. And it's something I've been talking with my wife a little bit more about as a possibility. And I actually was just looking at the numbers for the last 3 to 4 months. I started to track closer what I was making and things like that. I'm not going to say anything specific. But if I could keep up the earnings that I did over the course of my 100 days, I can do it. That's how I feel. I think it is doable. But it's hard to say, too, you know. A lot of it is timing with sketch card sets, and a lot of it is changing all the time. Some sets turn out to be very cost beneficial, some not so much. It's crazy how much I still feel like I need to learn a lot, and yet I feel like I already have learned a lot. And I had a good conversation today. I got an email or an instant message from an artist looking to crack into the sketch card market, get on some official sets, you know, and I was trying to give him good advice, and he had a lot of good questions. Kind of felt like saying, go watch like 100 videos, and then you'll have all my answers, because I talked about all this stuff in the videos. But it was kind of fun to talk about. But I started to notice as he was asking questions, it's like so many times the answer was like, oh, it varies. Like, well, tell me about artist proofs. Like, what is it? How many artist proofs do I get? And what do they sell for? Whatever. Oh, well, it totally varies from set to set, company to company. You know, how long can I expect to have to work on a given set? Well, it varies. Sometimes they give you 2 weeks. Sometimes they give you 4 months. You know, sometimes you have 2 weeks to do 100 cards. Sometimes you have 4 months to do 10. Depends on what you do. So, I don't know. I think for my advice for him and any other artists who are looking to get into it, and to artists who have been doing it and finding it frustrating or not working, is you got to find the right ways to take advantage of what there is, and to figure out how to negotiate for what you want and what works for you, whether that means higher per card pay or more artist proofs, or doing fewer cards, so that you can still have time to do commissions and have time to do artist proofs. You know, talking to well-respected, established artists who've been doing this for years, saying, well, the sketch card market is dead, they can't live on $2 or $3 a card, they're always so busy with set work that they never have time for commissions and have never had time to do their artist proofs. And it's like, well, then you're doing something wrong, because the money should be coming mostly from your artist proofs and commissions, not from your per card pay. It is workable. It's not, the system is flawed for sure, but it's not completely broken. There are artists who are doing it. There are artists who are, some of them it's because they're fantastic at it, and some of them are because they've got the right ideas, the right skill set to be able to do it and be successful. An artist who has good skill but is really fast is actually set up to make pretty good money at sketch cards, because they might, $3 per card might actually, well, not $3, but if they're getting $5 to $8 per card, that might actually be good money if you can do a card in 15 minutes. And then you get so many artist proofs, you know, and you're doing way more cards than the guy who takes 2 hours to do one. I don't know. I'm just saying there are ways to make it work. You just have to learn from your experiences. He said, how long did it take you to get established? You know, well, that happened pretty quick, but I really wanted to do sorry, I have to stop and think for a second. I really wanted to do a good job on that first UFC set, and I think it established me not only with the UFC market, that people wanted to see the collectors wanted to see more of my cards, but it got me invitations with other sets and companies, and then I took as much as I could, even if the pay was not ideal or whatever, early on, to get my foot in the door with other companies. And then that gave me a little extra power to negotiate for better deals. Because because I had proven myself at that point. I don't know, I think too many artists overcommit for too little pay, and look at it all wrong. Your pay is not necessarily coming on the amount they give you per card. It's more from, exposure might be overrated, but if you do a really good job on a set and you gain a customer who buys multiple commissions from you, you've got to take that into account. That means a lot, right? Oh, let's go darker in some areas. Still afraid to use black. I don't know why. I used black on that Darth Maul, and it turned out great. Speaking of which, I think I'm done with my Star Wars set, but maybe not quite. And this is a good example of where I'm saying you need to examine each set you're on and the offers you're getting and how to make it work for you. And I don't want to go into too many specifics. I'm not going to talk about specific numbers or specific dollar amounts. But last night I finished up my Star Wars cards. I was like, all right, felt good, and I felt accomplished, and I'm happy with the work I did, and I did, Anyway, and then I was reading through the agreement I had with the company, and it occurred to me that there might be a way for me to earn a few extra artist proofs, and it would take a little bit more work on my part, but in the big picture, it would give me a much better artist proof rate without putting in a ton more time or effort. I've already done the bulk of what I need to do. I would have to go back and refine some of the cards to meet specific requirements. But I think with another hour or two of work, I could earn a couple more artist proofs. So I'm trying to clarify right now with them exactly how that works and what would I need to do. And I'm being too vague so it sounds more complicated than it is. But it's kind of an example of reading the fine print to make it work, on a set that, well, I don't know how to complete that sentence. Star Wars, I've been super pumped to be working on Star Wars, I'm not going to say that much. But most of the artists who've worked on Star Wars sets know that they expect big numbers pretty quickly. And it's tough to do if you just, it would be hard to make money on that, on the Star Wars sets, if you try to do as many cards as they want straight the way that it's set up. You got to negotiate a little bit for me, I didn't negotiate for better pay or anything. I just didn't overextend myself. And that makes all the difference, because then I had more time to take on commissions, to do a really nice job on the cards that I am doing. One of the things I told the guy that I was on I am with this morning was, if you're going to do 100 cards, I personally think it's better to do 25 cards each for 4 different sets than to do 100 cards on a set. And I think that is a pretty good way of looking at how can you make sketch cards, working on official sketch card sets work. That sort of mentality, I think, is a big part of it. Unless you're one of those people who really can pump out decent work at 15 minutes to a half hour a card, you're going to have trouble making money on the per card pay. And that's just the reality of it. And it probably won't change, because there's so many artists out there willing to do this and give it a shot. So I have Spidey's. I think it's the shape of the eyes, but I definitely can see a difference in the shape of the head. It makes his head look longer, but I think it's just the eyes. But I'm not going to fret about it too much. I do like the way that reflection is, though. So I'm trying to decide how closely I want to try and match that. I think it's pretty neat with the red and with the buildings. I don't know if I can really make it look like buildings, or like a city back there. Or maybe I should try and make it look even more like buildings. Tough call, huh? And I still feel like I need to go darker, but I'm not sure where. Maybe go darker and then, go lighter by going back in with highlights, maybe? So, I did switch gears to medical drawings quite a bit over the last 2 weeks or so. Now, just in the last couple days, I've got back into sketch cards. And I've been having a hard time lately with motivation. And what I mean by that, with getting myself to actually sit down and start drawing a sketch card or whatever. And it's weird, even though I was drawing a lot every day on the medical stuff, after work at night or whatever, I would be like, okay, well, I'm going to get some sketch card work done, and then I just wouldn't have the energy, or wouldn't be able to switch gears and motivate myself to do it. And then when I finally did the other day, after not having done any sketch cards in a week or so, it was weird. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And I do. It's weird. I enjoy drawing sketch cards, and I always feel good about it when I'm done. It's just the before part that I dread. It's like, oh man, do I want to sit down and draw? I always feel like I need everything to be perfect. Like I need, whether, like for an artcast, that means I need my wife to not be home, and I need a certain piece to draw, and I'm not going to do, I don't know. A lot of the sets I'm working on I can't show or talk about, so I can't do those, for instance. So do I have a commission lined up and ready to go? And is it a subject I want to show on an artcast? I just sometimes need to just do it. Not just talking about the artcast, but just sit down and draw. Like I had, this is a good example. To finish up my Star Wars set, I had 2 left to do. And they were both Yoda. And I was like, well, I'm going to wait until a night that I have time to do them both, so that they have some cohesion and similarities, so I can get out the set of markers I'm going to work with and stick with those, rather than drawing one and then coming back a few days later and going, Now, what did I use to make his skin look the right color here? And that actually probably ended up making me put off doing those for like a week. Because I would go, tonight I really only have time to get through one of them. So then I wouldn't do, either I wouldn't draw, or I would, look up reference photos or something instead. Alright, and I'm just going to have to wing it because I'm not drawing, I notice. Okay, we're going to go like this. I don't really want to get into the drawing individual buildings or whatever. Just want to give some suggestions that there's dark shapes back here, and then go back and color some red and some lights. So I'll do it like that, see how it works. Oh, that's tricky. It might go the other way. Get into my markers here. Let's see. Let's hope I have enough reds in there somewhere that'll work. I think too, sorry for the long silence there as I'm trying to sort this out. A lot of times I feel like I can't find the right marker color that I want. And it seems silly to me because I know that I have a lot. And I'll buy new markers and find that they're actually really similar to what a color I already have or something. I'm going to start with pink and work my way up to red. This is actually my newest marker. I bought one marker recently. I had to put in an order to get refill colors. And I went to get to add some new markers to the collection too. And there were a couple colors I was going to get that were out. Ooh, I thought of it. I just thought of an idea. Going pink on that might screw it up. And a couple of the markers were out, and I just ended up with one marker and a bunch of refills. Oh well. Can I do some blue in there too? Because Spidey's blue. Oh, so just brought over the whole thing, huh? Because now I got my blues and greens and purples here. So, as I move towards my one sketchy summer next project, I can guarantee you it won't have daily videos. But I do also want to keep videos as being a part of what I'm doing because I like that part of it. I think doing a little bit of different, doing a video of a certain subject or whatever is going to pull in a different audience, which is good. I should have gone blue with these shadowy shapes back here instead of gray, so that's what I'll do. I'll try and make that work. So yeah, I'll do some videos, but not daily videos. And probably not so many other videos that are just just me sitting and talking at the camera. I'll probably have those every once in a while, but only when I actually have something to say. You won't just have the daily update videos like, today I drew this and this. It's date number or whatever. But I do want to figure out a way to get more organized again, too. Meaning, this is going to be really weird because it's going to be bright. Meaning, I lost a lot of organization when I quit doing the daily videos, and I would like draw something and not even post it up anywhere and realize I didn't even mention it and this and that. So I gotta find a way to get organized even if I'm not doing daily videos, right? It's pretty bright, right? A little too bright maybe. Let's use a pink color I like. Try and blend some of this in a little bit. Then I'll go back in with a more fun blue too. And I might even try and dull down some of those bright colors a little too. It's a little bit excessively bright. I don't want it to be completely distracting. I just want it to be like, oh neat, you can see a reflection kind of. This is a good one, cyanide blue or something. Look at that. Can you see it? Probably not. The colors never come through very well. I want this to be a little bit bright. So yeah, the daily videos are going to be a thing of the past, but it's just because I don't want the videos to be excessive. The flip side of that is it's hard enough getting followers when I was doing daily videos. How to get people to actually watch and subscribe when I'm not. I don't know, maybe that is the secret. Maybe not over flooding them and only putting a video out when I have something specific to say. Like, you know, I did that like basics of sketch cards video. That was pretty cool one, I thought, and something that nobody really had done yet. Kinda, right? That doesn't look like a cityscape at all, but that's okay. I just wanted it to look like cool reflections, really. But I still feel like it needs to be... Like, the trick maybe is that I don't need to dull down the whole thing, but dull down some parts of it so that there are certain flashes of bright colors coming through stuff. That makes sense. That's something I want to learn. Learn to be better at. As an artist, you know, you're always striving to get better. You have to. You have to want that. I find myself going back and forth a lot between I try and play to my strengths as much as possible as an artist. You know, I do what I'm good at. But at the same time, you don't want to do that so much to the point that you never get better at the things you're not good at. And that's a tough line to figure out, right? How does that work out? I don't have any answer. I feel like at some point in my life, in my art life, I need to really go
for a while and do like a series of daily exercises. That's kind of like, drawing the Marvel way or whatever. That's a good one to bring up while I'm drawing Spider-Man, where they have like a couple pages of, how to draw stick figures in action, right? And I was doing that a little bit for a while at work. Like, if I had time, I just had this newsprint sketchbook, and I'd bust that sucker out and just draw stick figures running, jumping, sword fighting, whatever, for a little bit. But I never did it with enough consistency to get confident and to get good at it. And so that's the type of thing I'm talking about, especially personally for me as an artist. That's what I got to get better at. I got to get better at being able to draw from imagination, use a reference more loosely, and add my own flair and touch to it, because I'm getting to where I feel pretty confident that I can draw what I see accurately from a reference. And it's like, to an extent, that's all I want to focus on. I want to get better and better and better at that. But once you get to a point, you have to work backwards a little bit and get better at being flexible and being able to do something a little bit different. I'll give you an example. It's probably a little too personal because I'm talking about probably my biggest weakness as an artist here. This is where I'm at. But I recently had a friend who wanted a commission done, and I ended up telling him I couldn't do it. It's not that it can't be done, but I'm not in a position right now to be able to do it. He wanted a tattoo design. For starters, that kind of freaks me out. It's going to be on his body forever. But he had this picture in mind that he wanted of an athlete from the 80s. But it's an obscure athlete, and there's not really any good reference out there of this person. And so he's like, so look at this picture. And then, like, he took a photo of himself, which was a good idea, at a slightly different angle. So he's like, so draw this guy, but tilted like this. And there are artists who can do that, and do a really nice job of it still. But I'm talking about a low-quality photo. It was really grainy and hard to see. And then trying to take that and combine that with a photo of himself, it just wasn't really going to work. It wasn't in my realm of what I can do and do well. And maybe it's just asking too much. But there are artists, comic artists do that type of thing all the time. Now, they do that type of thing and they come up with comic art, not realistic art, right? When you can take something like that, take multiple different references and combine them together and come up with something realistic, that's pretty impressive. So I usually stick to the reference as close as I can because I want it to turn out as good as I can. As good, the best that... Oh boy, that sentence didn't come out right. I want it to turn out well. One of the sets I'm working on is giving me... I'm having a hard time getting the ball rolling on it for this exact reason. Because I want to go in and, use a photo reference pretty straightforward. And the set kind of calls for a little more interpretation and a little more changing it to be a certain way or whatever. Oh, gotta run. Catch you guys next time. Almost got to an hour there, though. Wife's home. Freaking out. Hey, hon. So anyway, I almost got finished there. Maybe I'll save the rest for one final go so I can put it all together for a time-lapse drawing. Because I started this one on camera as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Later.